Good afternoon, teacher. I'm Sofia Mejia. My level is 7.5, and today I'm going to talk about something that has shaped me far more than any class, any book, or any motivational quote on the internet, specifically basketball. And even though it started as a hobby, it ended up becoming one of the main pillars of my personality. I have always believed that sports are micro versions of real life. You are constantly dealing with pressure, teamwork, strategy, communication, and growth. And when you are young, all those lessons sneak into your personality without you even noticing. Looking back, I can clearly see how basketball training my mindset long before and I knew anything about leadership or personal development. So today I wanna break down three core ways sports shape who I am. One is how basketball taught me discipline and consistency. Two, how it transformed the way I handled pressure and failure. And three, how it built my communication and leadership style. So let's get into it. One is discipline and consistency. When I first started playing, I was really terrible and I couldn't dribble properly. My shots were inconsistent and my stamina was, let's say, under construction. But sports don't care if you are good or not. What matters is whether you show up. I remember going early for practices, even when I didn't want to, running drills that made my legs feel like concrete, repeating the same move and once again 100 times until I feel natural. And that routine show up practices, fall, repeat, boil a type of discipline, and that sure alone didn't teach me really. And here's the truth: discipline isn't motivation, and discipline is systems. Basketball wired that mentally into me. Now, when I have academic deadlines, long term projects, or personal goals, I don't rely on motivation. I rely on habits and structures. If I commit, I execute. Even when I'm tired, even when the vibe isn't there, that ability can strive from the core. So let's with two. Managing pressure and fire. And if there is one thing sport guarantee is failure, missed shots, lost games, bad passes, unexpected outcomes, and no matter how good you are, you will fail a lot. And basketball forced me to deal with that early on. And there were games where I missed the last shot, games when I felt responsible for the loss, games when I played amazing but the team still lost. At first, I questioned me. I used to take every mistake personally, and I have to say I don't know how to lose, but here's where sports shape your emotional intelligence. You learn to separate your performance from your identity. I learned that failure doesn't mean you're bad, it means you are learning. I learned to analyze mistakes instead of avoiding them. I learned to stay calm under pressure because stressing out only makes everything worse. Now when I face academic challenges, public speakings, interviews, or high stake decisions, I don't freeze. I have been here before. I have felt pressure before. I have survived disappointment before. So sport gives me something that you can buy, and it's resilience. Basketball built my mental muscle, and that's the muscle I use today when life is chaotic. So for the last, we have communication and leadership, and learning to move as a team. Basketball also shaped the way I interact with people. In a game, communication is everything. If you don't talk, your team collapses. If you overtalk, chaos. You need clarity, quick thinking, emotional control, trust with yours. mates, of course. As I grew, I wasn't just playing, I was learning how to read people, how to understand their strengths, how to calm them down when the team was under pressure, how to stay focused when the emotions were high. Eventually, I naturally become the person who organizes, motivates, and supports the group. Not because I want a leadership title, but because the game demanded. Sport taught me Mm, the type of leaderships that matter to guys in the real life. No authority, no. Eh, but influence, awareness, and responsibility. Today, in a school projects, group works, or any collaborative environment, I bring that same mindset. I know when to step up, when to step back, and how to adapt to different personalities and honestly, that has become one of my strongest assets. When when people talk about sports, they usually focus on trophies, competitions, and physical skills. But the real value is internal because sports shape how you think, feel, and act long before you realize it. Sorry, basketball turned me into someone more disciplined, emotional releasing, and capable of leading and working with others. It taught me to trust the process. It's a cliche, bounce back from failure and always beat on consistency and oversight. And the best part, this lesson stay with you forever, even when you're not wearing sneakers or standing on a court. So thank you, teacher.